Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I have a fun birthday card to share. Hey, so I am using Jaded Blossoms Gnome Dies Firefighter add-ons. They're Sound the Alarm outline dies and the stamp set. Our Gnome Dies, Jaded Blossoms Gnome Dies S'more add-ons. They're rectangle dies, along with their birthday dies. And I put that together on the firefighter assembly video, so check that out. And I'm using the first responder pad from Echo Park with the matching 12-inch solids. And I'm also using Doodlebug's gingham linen and P13 stamping pad skin tones. Now I have a piece of paper trank white cardstock cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm scoring it at 4.25 inches. So I'll have a horizontal A2 size card. I need a little more room this time. And then what I did was I cut this orange from the Echo Park First Responder Solids, and that is 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card front. So I'm just going to line that up using my ATG tape. Like I said, all my die cutting was done with my mini Empress machine from Anna Griffin. Okay, so next I have the stitched rectangle die. I believe the one that I used was 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I cut this other matte layer out of paper from that 12-inch solids, the Echo Park First Responder 12-inch solids. So there we go. And the pattern is obviously from the First Responder 6-inch pad. So putting it all together using my ATG tape, and then I will line that up, sort of in the center. You know, I do my best, and there we go. I'm going to be covering up the bottom with something, so it doesn't really matter, but, you know, I try my best. Okay, so next I'm adding another piece from that super cute Echo Park First Responder 6-inch pad, and I'm going to add a little strip of the red from the 12-inch matching solids to it and add that to the inside. I believe that was like 1.25 inches. And then it was just a scrap of the red that I kind of lined up. And I'm just going to lay those on the bottom of the interior of my card, leaving a little bit of a gap between the, so a little bit of the paper trank white cardstock shows. I'm just making sure everything kind of lines up. I'm still working with a bit of a gas bubble in my eye, so it's hard to line things up and get things straight right now. So that's where we sit. So now I'm trimming off the overhang with a pair of scissors here. Oops. There we go. And next we are going to add the hose with some Barely Art glue. And I did use Bright Buttercup for the yellow. And I used Pure Poppy for the red. And her hair is American Crafts cardstock. But everything else I listed in the beginning. So I went ahead and I cut out these birthday candles from the birthday dies. And I cut them all out of pattern paper from that 6-inch pad from Echo Park First Responder. And on the ones with the little slices missing, I'm going to add a little strip of cardstock behind them, just to save myself time. You could have layered the two together, but I would have had to cut out even more candles, so I just decided to do it this way. So I'm just adding a little strip of red from the 12-inch solids from Echo Park. And then I'll trim off, what's extra. And I do weight it down with an acrylic block. So now on the bottom, I'm using Jaded Blossom's border dies. I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning, but I'm using the border dies. And I cut out these borders all out of paper trank white cardstock. And what I'm going for is I'm building a birthday cake. I don't know if you can tell, but that's my plan. I'm going to have a birthday cake with candles, and then we're going to have this firefighter putting out the fire that the candles are causing. So I'm using my ATG tape, also an adhesive eraser there. That's your best friend when you're using ATG tape. Because if you went to try and peel it off, you've got a mess. It's going to rip. But you can certainly use that adhesive eraser to kind of knock it back a bit so it's within your layers so it doesn't show. And there we go. And I will trim off that overhang paper with a pair of scissors here again. And that's what I'm going for, kind of like a white birthday cake. There. And now I'm going to glue down these candles, kind of alternating, starting at the left. And I'm going to add the one to the right as well. And just trying to leave equal gaps on this cake. I'm going to end up putting this little girl, firefighter, to the right-hand side of the cake. But I'm just going to add all these candles in first. So there we go. Just adding in all those candles. And there we are. And I'm going to add one on the inside for fun, because why not, right? So I'm going to add that down. Good. And I do weight it down. So I'm taking some Paper Trink white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment from that Sound the Alarm stamp set. I'm using my Misty, like I said, and some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. I find it's just easier to stamp using a Misty. Remember, don't press too hard because you'll squash your letters. You're better off stamping multiple times and just pressing very lightly to get a nice clear image. Next, I'm going to add on my little outline die for that, which are super handy. I'm just lining things up. I'll use some Easy C tape to keep my die in place, and I do run that through my die cutting machine. Next, I'm going to be adding on some of these, some of the flames. So the big flames, that is from the Gnome Die S'more add-ons. This little flame is from the Firefighter add-ons. And then there's the normal flame that goes with the birthday candle. And I'm going to use all of them just to make it a little more interesting. So this is cut from that paper, or from the matching solids from that Echo Park First Responder. This is also cut from that. So I'm just sort of overlapping these flames. And isn't that fun? So it's like it's causing like a big fire, right? And that's what I'm going for. So I'm going to sort of overlap them a bit. I'm going to add in the little orange. The orange has a bit of a pattern, and that comes from the First Responder 6-inch pad. I could have used the matching solid orange, but I like to add pattern here and there. I think it adds something. Especially tone-on-tone pattern. I find it's not as busy. You know, you can sneak that in, and it kind of reads as a solid. Now I'm adding in, like I said, lots of little flames. That's also from the Gnome Die S'more add-ons. And that little tiny one is the little fire that goes on the front of the firefighter helmet. And there we go. So I'm just sort of adding them in, adding some layers. And I do weight it down. I'm going to add one more candle in because I thought I just didn't like the placement where my little firefighter was going to end up. I wanted her a little bit more to the right, so I'm going to add one more candle in. It's you know, it's kind of hidden, but, and there you have it. Isn't that cute? And I do weight it down. So that is where my super cute little firefighter is going to end up. I'm going to stick her to the front of my card using some ATG tape, and I'm going to overlap the cake a bit in the candles. And there we go. Isn't she cute? And I'm going to add that sentiment with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. And that's going to end up on the left of her. I just think this is so cute. The little water was cut from the from Jaded, or from Doodlebug's gingham linen, Rainbow Petite Prints, 6-inch. The fire hose is also cut from that. And I did use bright buttercup yellow cardstock from Paper Tray ink on the helmet and on the nozzle. So I'm going to pop up some more water with some dimensionals. There we go. Isn't that cute? I just cut some extra water and also the little droplet. I'm going to cut a tiny little dimensional for that one. Because, you know, I say it all the time, Leanne's a bit crazy with adding dimension. I love my dimensionals. And I just think they really add something to your card, having that dimension. Texture is everything, right? Texture and dimension. So I'm just going to add that with my, there we go, my reverse tweezers. And adding that last little piece on. And isn't that cute? I just think it's adorable. So I'm taking out my Secure White Jelly Roll pen and number 10. I'll add a few little highlights to this guy. And then I'm going to pull, oh, actually, this one is my Secura Jelly Roll, or Secura Jelly Roll in the sparkle. And then I will take my number 10 in the white and add a highlight in that as well. On the outside of the card, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. And there we go. So now I am pulling out the Spectrum Noir. I believe it's like a clear sparkle pen, something like that. And I'm going to paint that over the water. And I'm going to paint it over all of the flames. And I'm going to do this technique where you got to let it dry, and then you can seal it in with glossy accents. And then you get like a really nice dimensional, glitter underneath the glossy accents. It just looks really pretty. So I'm going to quickly paint that all on. I find that with this card, it was kind of a simple design. So adding this technique really, I don't know, I guess bumps it up a notch and makes it look a little bit more special. So I'm just going to fill in this clear sparkle. And like I said, you just let it dry. It takes only a few seconds for this to dry. And then I will apply the glossy accents. So there we go. Just sort of painting it in. It doesn't take any special skill, right? Just adding in a lot of fun shimmer. So there we go. Now I'm pulling out my glossy accents. So the trick to this is you're going to want to put, don't put down too much, right? You don't want it to pool too much because it can cause, some wrinkling. It takes a long time to dry. So just put a nice coat, and then you're going to want to walk away. Don't even try to test it. Just put it aside and walk away. I like to leave it for like about a day before I mess with it. Really, it'll dry in a few hours depending on the thickness, but I've wrecked too many things by testing glossy accents. So don't do it. Just put it on a shelf and walk away. I've also covered it as I'm cleaning up. I've also accidentally put a piece of cardstock on top of a glossy accent covered card. It's never good. So just, put it aside and forget about it for a bit. I think that this really adds something to the fire element on this card and just makes it look a little bit more fun, right? So your birthday is becoming a fire hazard, which is always fun. And I really liked the glossy accents on the water as well. There we go. Now remember that P13 stamping pad skin tones that I used for the gnome's face and hands and feet. That is available at the Jaded Blossom store, so you can check that out. It's always nice to have a bunch of skin tones to choose from to make your gnome whatever color you'd like to make it. And there we go. Just use some a bamboo skewer just to sort of make sure that glossy accents is spread around well. Now, I didn't show you using them, but I did use Nuvo glitter drops in White Blizzard just to decorate the cake layer. So thanks for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check out the Jaded Blossom blog and the Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these products. And like I said, thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.